Hey everyone, it's Jason and Sarah from nerdyfamily.us, and I'm playing God of War 3 today.
Hey everyone, this is our first official walkthrough. Sarah's at the controller, and we're going to be walking through, giving you a taste of God of War 3. Came out in 2010. We know we're a little behind the times here, but Sarah just recently got this game and just finished it recently.
Took me about 10 hours to finish the whole game.
I've played the first God of War, but I didn't play the second or the third one. I've just kind of watched over the shoulder as she's played the third one.
I didn't play the first or second one, and it didn't really matter too much because the game is kind of good about showing you what has happened up until now.
We picked this game because Sarah's kind of on her quest to find different games that are good for girl gamers, because not all of them are really fun to her, and she's trying to make a good list. And this is one of the ones that I suggested just because it's kind of fun, it's pretty easy, it's a lot of just kind of button smashing, and it's kind of bloody, but it's got a good story to it.
And it doesn't really look like a game that a girl would want to play, but I think what attracted me to the game and kept me playing is the mythology part, with Hercules and Hades and being able to recognize all those characters.
Right now we're playing on easy, by the way, so if it looks really simple, it is, but you don't really play this kind of game for the difficulty, I wouldn't think. It's more just to see the story and to kind of watch some of the different brutal kills that he gets. That's definitely, I guess we should mention this right away, but this isn't, if you're a little kid, you probably shouldn't watch this video. The game does get pretty bloody, and the game is a lot about the blood, because to get extra XP, you have to try to brutally kill them, and the game focuses a lot on that.
And one thing about the game I kept on having trouble with, because I'm trying to get better at using the two joysticks, is that I want to control the camera, and instead of controlling the camera, I roll. So it got a little bit confusing for me.
Yeah, that's something we've been working on, because a lot of times people who haven't been gaming since they're little, it's hard to use both joysticks. But in this one, you don't really need to use both joysticks unless you like to dodge. And this kind of game, you don't totally have to.
Like when I grew up, I played on Sega, and that didn't have any joysticks at all, so it's a big change.
And we have finished the game, like Sarah said, so this is just one of our previous saves, and all it really unlocked is we have a new challenge mode that we can now play. That isn't very impressive, but I don't think this is the kind of game that you replay a bunch of times. You'll notice that as Sarah kills things, these little red balls fall off of them. That's the health and XP and stuff that she's picking up. I think red is XP, and then all the others are color-coded based on the bar at the top of the screen. So green is health, and blue is mana for magic, and then yellow is her bow.
I think another thing that I really liked about the game is trying to get your next weapon by killing the next god, so I wanted to keep going to figure out who was next and which weapon was next. Oh no. And that was the hardest part of the game for me, is double jumps. I am really bad at that.
And it's kind of crazy because there's double jump in this game, and then on the triple jump, or if you hold the double jump, you put out those wings. And that's something that was at the end of the game of the first one, is where those came from. So now we did the fighting area. So now this is really common. We have to go through and do this crawl around on a wall stuff, and this is what God of War is really good at. It's not very difficult compared to like Prince of Persia or some of those other ones. If you really like this style of kind of puzzle solving or climbing around and trying to find a path, then Prince of Persia is probably a better game for you. But this one does have a lot more combat.
This one, like this jumping, I don't even really have to aim. I just jump and he lands wherever he's supposed to go. Whereas like with the double jump, you have to be a little more precise. And I'm not good being precise, as you saw.
I always think of these as more of like a movie that you're watching than playing, because really it kind of plays itself, and you can't really die a lot during these kind of areas. There's no real threat. Just the dramatic music to edge you on. What Sarah was saying earlier too about every time you beat a god, a lot of times you unlock a new weapon. Right now, Kratos is just using his standard Blades of Exile that he got, and those are actually forged onto his wrist. And then throughout the game, as you kill different people, you pick up new blades, and you pick up more things. But they're basically all just punchy things. You just smash square a lot.
So I can pause and show you the screen where you level up your weapons. You just spend your experience points, which is, the red dots that you're collecting. And I have enough right now to go ahead and level up the bow that I have. And you just hold down X until it's full. And it tells you you've got increased damage.
And as you see, there's not a lot of choices we have to make in the leveling up process. It's not the kind of game that you have a level up tree or anything like that. You just, by the end of the game, we ended up having every single weapon leveled up to the max.
Okay, I'm about to do another jump.
That's one thing I wish they would kind of add, is that there's no real way to build a bad character, or a good character for that matter. Basically, you just have the blades you need when you need them. And a lot of the blades don't even add any new play control to them. There's, I think, 3 total blades that look just like his normal ones. They just do a little bit different effect on the enemy. And then there's the big Hercules gloves that you end up getting. Oh, go ahead.
There's a lot of different controls, and I never really learned any of them, especially because I didn't, spend days playing this in a row. Oh, there was another difficult jump for me. And so I'd forget on how to do a lot of the attacks, so it's just a lot of button smashing for me, but it was still fun because I like button smashing and doing one of the brutal kills where you rip a head off or something, and it's kind of like, oh, look what I did, but I don't remember how I did that, so let's move on.
Yeah, part of this game is really just trying to kill people in the most bloody ways because it gives you more XP. And then there's finishers on the bigger enemies. Whenever you're fighting a big enemy, you could just fight them until they die, but a lot of times on-screen controls will appear to say, press O now, and he'll jump on top of him, and then he'll rip the head off or do something really bloody.
The bloodiest scenes are when you're fighting like a boss, like a god.
Yeah, the levels usually end with the whole place covered in blood, and Kratos is just soaked in it.
So here's a bunch of innocents for me to kill. Kratos isn't a nice guy.
Yeah, it's hard to think of Kratos as a hero. There you got brutal kill.
And the fighting is kind of hectic because you can't aim. It's just smashing buttons and killing things. And so sometimes you're just swinging at the air.
And Sarah will talk about it more in her review, but she's really trying to find games that other girls might enjoy or first-time gamers might enjoy.
And one thing I look for in games is being able to customize my character, being able to play male or female. I usually like games that let me play as a girl, but there's not very many. And this one you don't get a customized Kratos at all, not even his colors, which I'd be fine with it being able to edit his colors. And it's a little thing, but I like that kind of thing. Did I miss one?
Yeah, I think you did.
So coming up next, we fight a bigger guy, and you do damage to him until the O symbol appears above him, and you click that and it'll go through a sequence of buttons to kill him, like triangle, square, X, and pound on O. And then you'll do something crazy like rip his head off or something. And I never really got good at dodging attacks, but I didn't really die too much in battle. So it didn't really matter that I didn't know how to do that very well.
Yeah, there's the battles on easy anyway are definitely not difficult.
I mostly had trouble with trying to figure out the puzzles. Like going through portals to get to the other side of the room and pulling a lever and running back in time to catch something. It got kind of confusing.
Here's one of the big brutal kills. That was a pretty basic one. But the other weapons, I guess, that we left out, because there's also, besides just the attack weapons, there's utility things. You get boots and one of the god's heads that you actually carry around.
Like a flashlight. Oh, and the blue bar is your magic, and you have spells for each weapon. And for this one, I have shields that pop out, which I used a lot because it does a lot of damage, it seems.
Yeah, these are like the Spartan warriors.
And then for the Hades weapon, you can summon different creatures like archers or a big monster thing. But they didn't really ever seem to be that helpful.
Oh, see there, she didn't hit O fast enough.
And so I would just summon them just for looks. It's running from me.
Yeah, it looks neat because as you kill different, or as you level up, the new monsters that you see, you eventually get to summon them. So pretty soon you're summoning a bunch of different monsters that you've seen, which is kind of neat, even if they aren't totally effective in battle. So I think that's probably pretty good for the walkthrough. You get a basic idea of how the gameplay works. It's a lot of that crawling around on walls and then puzzle solving. We didn't do a puzzle, but a lot of them just take way too long to do. And then you saw some combat. So now we'll go ahead and go back to the main screen and do one of the challenges real quick, just for anybody who cares, in case you were wondering what the challenges look like.
And I'm going to hand the controller over to Jason because I just really don't like the challenges because it's just button smashing with no story or anything. And it's really, really difficult.
And the only other thing, we did unlock a costume, but it was at the very end of the game, and it's not really a costume because it also changes the way your attacks work. It does different damage, and you take more damage. So I don't really consider it an actual theme. It's a whole new game then, I think, if you play back through it.
I don't think I would play back through it. Once was enough for me.
If we beat all the challenges, we'd unlock this combat arena. But I don't even know what's in there. I don't think it'd be worth it because these challenges are ridiculous. There's basically, all of them have to do with you're in an arena and you have to do something. Like this first one is just keep the population below 50. This one is you don't have any weapons. You can only use your hands to grab them and throw them and rip their head off and stuff. This one you try to get hit so that you turn to stone, but then you have to break away from the stone before somebody else touches you so you don't explode. And it's kind of how all these work. You basically just have some challenge you're trying to accomplish. But none of them are super clear, and they're kind of hard to follow and hard to do.
I think all of them are timed, but it's not clear that you're being timed on all of them.
And these are the Hercules gloves.
And I kind of thought as we were going through the game, unlocking the new weapon set in the final battle, you would need to use each one of them, but that wasn't the case. It's more, there's just little things along the way that you need, the fists to break things and stuff like that. Because the original, like the Blades of Exile, were the ones that I used the most, because they seem to be the best.
And it's too bad the story is really super linear too. There's not a lot of places where you can bridge, you can't make other choices. There's not a lot of outcomes. And as you see for this challenge, all I'm doing is smashing X and trying to find an efficient way to do like bowling pins basically and kill them. Because I can do better attacks that do more damage, but a lot of them are slower and they cause them to like fly up in the air, which means I don't kill them. So I have to just keep pressing X, or square, square, square. I really think this challenge mode was really just created because I believe the rendering engine can handle 50 enemies at once without lagging. That was one of their big accomplishments compared to the previous games. So I think this is just to show that off.
And as you can see from all this, but it's definitely not a game for a younger audience.
Or someone who's just too squeamish. Okay, so there I actually beat that challenge, but... Alright, so there I actually finished the challenge. That's the only one I can actually beat. The others are just too ridiculously hard. They're just not fun. And there's no difficulty settings. There's no like bronze, silver, and gold for each one of these. It's just, you got a check mark or a V, I guess. I don't even know what that means. So that's really all there is to that. So I think that about wraps up our walkthrough. You'll have to look at the website to read about more.
I'll put up a full review with more details of what I thought about the game and what I think about it for a girl gamer.
And I hope you enjoyed our videos. This is our first official one, so hope you like what you see. If you like it, throw some comments, throw some likes. Feel free to go check out our webpage and post comments there, or you can see us on Google Plus too. We'll have all the links under the video so you can follow us.
Thank you for watching. Bye.